Hi, so I'm Helen. I'm who set up the campaign, and I just wanted to say hello to everybody and just let you know about my story and the updates that have happened over the past week or so. So I set up this campaign a few days ago now, and it's to challenge the DVLA regarding the implementation and how they're implementing the EU directive that was set up in 2011. I guess the best place to start is just to tell you a little bit about me. So I've had diabetes for nearly 19 years. I've been on an insulin pump for probably about 7 years now. My blood sugars are very well controlled and my HbA1c is spot on and has been stable for some time. My hypo awareness is very good, and I usually sort of experience symptoms between 4 and 3.5, although that obviously changes a little bit. I unfortunately had 2 episodes of hypoglycemia at night time in June, and the reasons for this were that the temperature changed quite dramatically and became very, very hot, and I just do not cope very well in heat. It really affects my blood sugars, and as it was so sudden, I wasn't expecting it. I was also under quite a lot of stress at work because I was completing a university module alongside working full-time hours, and I had two nighttime hypos, that I needed assistance with from my partner. So I quickly arranged an appointment with my consultant, and we reviewed my nighttime basal rate and did some fastings after. And after that had all been adjusted, I had no further issues. I was, it didn't affect my work, I could carry on working. And my consultant actually, luckily, documented that he was happy for me to continue to drive. So in August, the forms came through for me to reapply for my driving licence, and I usually do that every 3 years, but this was the first year that I'd reapplied since the new EU directive came in force in 2011. So I proved to never had any problems. I sent off the form, which I completed the Diab1 form. The form had very little space for me to explain the context of the hypos, and I think that's a really important factor. And I also signed a consent form saying that I was happy for them to check my medical notes and liaise with my GP and consultant as necessary. And I also attached a covering letter because I was a little bit concerned that I couldn't really explain on the form why these hypos had occurred. And I thought with that letter, my consultant happy for me to continue to drive, that would be fine. However, it took them quite a lot of time to get back to me, and when they did, unfortunately, my licence has now been refused. And that was just absolutely devastating news. Like I said, I use my car for my job, which has just had a massive impact. I'm very lucky that I can continue working at the minute, but it's more difficult, and in the middle of winter isn't much fun. So I set up this campaign because after lots of research into it and after discussing with the DVLA, this is happening to more and more individuals, and it's becoming a real problem. And I really do feel like diabetics are being discriminated against, and something needs to change because this cannot keep going on. The DVLA do not distinguish the difference between nighttime and waking hypos. And if I'd have been awake when these hypos had happened, I would have been able to control them myself. But I was in deep sleep, I was unaware of the symptoms because I was asleep, and that's what happens. It happens to people, it happens to diabetics. It does not mean that they're not controlled in the daytime when they're controlling a vehicle. And as long as they follow the DVLA guidelines to make sure their blood sugar is above 5.5, they eat well before they are driving any distance, they're checking their blood sugars, they're not driving if their blood sugar is below 5.5, I cannot see how this is an issue, and that is something I always stick to. So I find that really, really frustrating. The other thing that I found incredibly ignorant of the DVLA is that they do not consider each individual case. Even though they're quoted as doing so, they're not doing that. And when questioned, I was basically told that they don't have the capacity to do this always, you know, which I think is disgusting. And that is discrimination, because do not say you're doing something and then you don't do it. So, I mean, I'm very lucky that the campaign is doing really well at the minute so far. I think we've got 364 or 3 signatures, which is absolutely fantastic. And a lot of that is through friends and family sharing, and I really, really do appreciate that. And it's so nice to hear the support from you guys, so thank you very, very much. All I can say is just keep on sharing it, keep on signing it, keep on telling everybody about it, because if we do nothing, nothing is ever going to change, and this is going to affect more and more individuals with diabetes, and that's something that I don't want to happen. You know, I might not be able to change my own situation. I hope I can, but I might not be able to do anything about it. But what I do hope to achieve is at least raise up a hell of a fuss to stop this happening in the future. I'm very lucky that I know of somebody who is able to attend a meeting which is being held on the 20th of November in Brussels. And this meeting is to discuss the DVLA. Diabetes UK are going, and it's to discuss the EU directive with EU law, and hopefully having emailed my story to some of the people attending this meeting and making them aware of the campaign and aware of the issues surrounding other people this has affected, I'm hoping that something will happen and some change, you know, will occur, that they review this directive and how it's being implemented by UK law, because the directive was designed with the basis that the Secretary of State in the UK would, you know, take each case individually and hopefully avoid what is happening now. Yet this isn't happening, and it seems that this directive has been taken very harshly by UK law. So that's something that needs reviewing, and that's hopefully what Diabetes UK are going to fight our corner for. I have spoke to Diabetes UK about helping out with the campaign, but unfortunately until they've got the outcome of this meeting, they're not happy to do so at the minute, and if they have a negative result from the meeting on the 20th, then they're looking to campaign later this year. But I don't think mine is something that they can help me with, which is a real shame, and it was quite disappointing to hear that, as they're an advocacy service, but it's one of those things, isn't it? So at the minute, me personally, I've made contact with a local newspaper, and they're going to publish a story, and BBC Spotlight are hopefully going to come and chat to me next week, which would be fantastic, because that's the best way of me getting my story out there and making people aware of the issues. My brother has been absolutely fantastic. Ryan Nichols has done a wonderful job. He is currently working on a website which will hopefully be set up and running next week or the end of this week, hopefully. That website will be called actionfordiabeticdrivers.org.uk. We've also got a Facebook group, which is again Action for Diabetic Drivers, so like us on there, and I'll keep posts updated on both the websites when they're going. I'm also on Twitter, but I'm not particularly great on Twitter, so you can contact me on there, but if you can use the other sites, I'd really appreciate that. I've also set up, well, I haven't, my wonderful brother has, and he's done a fantastic job in organising some posters. So if anybody wants any, I had to put in diabetic clinics, put in schools, put in college, and work, anywhere, just give me a message, drop me an email via Facebook, via the website when it's up and running, or commenting on this update, and I'll send one out to you as soon as I can. So yeah, let's hope that this will make a difference. I'm really sorry for the long update, but it's a lot of information to take on board. Anyway, I'll keep you updated, and hopefully we'll have some more news in the next few days after this meeting. But yeah, brilliant, thanks. See you soon then. Bye.